What is up, everyone? It's Nathan Pacheco, aka Modern, your host here on the Relatedness podcast. Welcome to today's episode, sponsored by DollarPapeClub.com. That's dollar P-A-P-E, like pape, rolling paper, club.com. Go check that out for rolling papers in the mail every month, every other month, or quarterly. Redman is there to greet you, so check it out, DollarPapeClub, P-A-P-E club.com, and join the club. It's 11:30 in the morning ish, November 4th, and it's been like 3 weeks or some shit since my last podcast, since my last confession, and wow, life is all I can say. Just life. You know, I've been doing my own thing, working so hard. I have a release coming out on December 8th. You can get the pre-order November 10th. It's a trap hybrid banger, trap future bass hybrid banger. You can check that out everywhere. November 10th, pre-order, and it's called Jaded, and definitely it's interesting. It's interesting. I'm thinking about how I name songs. Sometimes I'm just like think of a word while I'm listening to the song, or sometimes I'll use the art to represent what's going on in my life. And jaded is a word that has come up consistently in the past few weeks. Holy, I guess, long story short, I'm just a little exhausted of beating a dead horse in some scenarios, so it's good to realize when to stop trying, or, you know, take a step back and realize your own actions and other people's actions, which makes me want to get to this video that we have here that popped up while I was getting a quote for one of these podcasts, and it actually ruined my day. So but I just want to talk about it. I mean, it's not gonna maybe it's gonna ruin your day. Who cares? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about psychedelic mushrooms and the posers of the psychedelic mushroom realm. Let's so this video popped up as an ad while I was getting a quote. It was the video is what Machiavellian really means. I believe it's a TED Ed, yeah. It's a TED Talk, and psychedelic mushroom advertisement popped up, and it was all Apple Store-y, where it was very clean cut and superficial, and it was painting this picture that was like overly positive, and I think it was kind of tone deaf in a sense, where it was like too much positive is obviously, it doesn't make any sense. There's obviously negatives to psychedelics, and microdosing. I'm sure that's why testing is happening, and these things are going on right now. I've had my own experiences, and that's just why I can see these psychedelic posers and identify them so easily. Let's jump into this video and see exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, so for the people who aren't watching, there's a person just holding up a mushroom, and it says, "Have you ever tried mushrooms?" Alright, the music is super corny. "Canadians now have access to safe mushrooms," it says. A door opens. "You can safely and discreetly order mushrooms. I wonder how." There are various forms of ingesting mushrooms, okay? Thousands of people now using... Wow, this thing is... These slides are quick. Thousands of people are using... This is such an ad. Yeah, everyone is doing it, so you should do it too. Give me a break. Shut up. Advertisement. Ordering is discreet and you can pay with your credit card or Interact e-transfer. So obviously this is for Canadians because it says e-transfer. Okay, so ordering is discreet and you can pay with your credit card or e-transfer. So can just some kid pick up their parents' credit card and order shrooms to their house? Is that what they're trying to insinuate? I'm gonna test the security of this website. See if they check IDs. There are microdosing options that allow you to enjoy benefits of mushrooms without the high. Okay. Interesting. I mean, you're still getting micro high, so that's pretty much a lie. Just advertising lies, and it's really sad to see. I'm gonna go to this website. I'm not gonna show you their URL or whatever, or any logos. Try not to, because I don't want to promote this more than they're paying to promote from British Columbia already. Okay, so this is like a classic website that you were probably able to buy weed from before legalization. Now they're just reapplying this gray market ideology to mushrooms. It's end-of-life treatment which is what cannabis used to be, okay? And now I think personally it's insane that this was even advertised on YouTube. I can't even advertise my rolling paper company, and you have a illegal company that's selling drugs like mushrooms, and like there's there's cannabis on here, there's edibles, microdosing, and dried mushrooms. So there's chocolate infused mushrooms. I think it's scary to see. Okay, it's scary to see because there's no regulation, and I'll tell you why. I look at this and I look at these edibles. When I see 1,000 milligrams or 3,000 milligrams or cannabis, that sounds insane. That sounds like insane amounts of dosage, right, in one package. So when you get your CanCell license, you're tested, and one of the regulations in Canada is that it's illegal to package and sell more than 30 milligrams per package of an edible. Okay, that's 30 milligrams per package. So you can buy packages of 10 milligrams, 5 milligrams, and 2.5 milligrams, which I think is absolutely mind-blowing. If on average it takes 200 or something, or maybe 100 to feel something, or get that high. That's the regulation. And on this website, guess what? I've never heard of these companies before, as well as they're selling 200 milligrams, 500. Let's see what the fattest dosage that we can get on here. Bunch of 180, 200. It's the way that it should be done. Oh, there's 1,000 milligram here, 1,500 milligram gummy. This is how the government should have done the packaging, so it doesn't seem outrageous. But it is outrageous because this is how I can instantly tell if it's illegal. Okay. This is obviously unregulated. Now I'm gonna go. There's no bio. There's no about us. There's no. It's just. You just have to trust this website that was able to spend money to advertise on Google. There's no credibility here. You go on the blog and then there's just some bot who has made some bot posts about some random psychedelic mushroom stuff, and it's cool and not cool at the same time. The advertisement is the opposite of cool. Okay, it's like the same, it's in the same wheelhouse as those people who are like, use spirituality and pay me $500 so you can learn how to invest in crypto, when you could have used that money to just buy fucking a crypto, or like, come on my join my virtual retreat and we can learn so much about the crypto, or pay $2,000 to learn how to forex trade. Give me a break. Give me a goddamn freaking. I understand it because people want to learn and people want to, be good at something, and they want a institutionalized version of doing it because that's how some people learn. But in that very same right, that institution is like propagating the opposite of what needs to be done. Actually, like did I need someone to tell me that you need to be spiritually aware to invest in XRP? No. Guess what? Banks are raking up all the coins so that way they can control the market. Like, get your stupid spirituality fake ass out of here. Like, you know what I mean? Like, shut up. I will take your money because you bought on the hype with all your other people who couldn't see what is going on. And there's definitely a pyramid of insight, an insight pyramid where you have these people at the bottom, consumers, the people who are looking for the product, and then you have a smaller amount of people who make the product. Do you think there's a lot of people who run this site? No. Like, it takes one person to do like so many things. Like, one person could have made this entire site. Not one person could have grown all these products. Maybe. But, it's not a very large group that is curating all this, right? How many people work at Apple? How many people does Apple serve? It's just the pyramid of chain of being, right? And I'm just like, okay, you guys have to learn at the same time that, it's not all roses and rainbows, like some people. So first of all, psychedelic mushrooms expands your mind, okay? And your mind is like an elastic band. And if you stretch an elastic band enough, guess what's going to happen? It's going to snap, okay? If people have suicidal tendencies and they push themselves to a limit it really has to be curated. Like, the experience has to be curated, because if someone is already in a bad place and they feel more guilty about something, and they're uncontrolled and they can't pull themselves out of this dark place, like, holy, there's a possibility of people going into worse places, right? I've had good experiences and I've had bad experiences. I've cried because of the joy of life and the beauties of life, and I've cried because of my own actions and not being good enough for myself, and having that realization is good, but at the same time it expanded my mind. Like, I don't want to go too much into it because it's pretty personal, maybe in the future, but there's just certain actions we're not willing to do before taking psychedelic mushrooms, that's for sure. Because it definitely opens your mind to certain things, okay? And some people, I know they can't handle it. I know for a fact it's not for everyone. I think it will be a literal social experiment if this becomes recreational. And the reason, there's a social construct that is built into play, and having a free mind, and imagine being slighted and then you realize you're slighted because your brain activity has increased by 1,000%, and you're able to think about just overthink, and then you think about certain things. That's one scenario. Another scenario, or another factor of the experience, is that you remember the 100%. For the rest of your life, you will remember parts of the experience, like 200%. And now, this is not a good nor bad thing. This is just something that exists with taking the substance, okay? So I may or may not have taken it a few times for scientific research. Hello, cat. And in that scientific research, I found that in each experience, I was able to remember every single one of them. Like I can flash back to the positive time that I felt good, and I can envision it, and I can see the setting, I can see the environment, I can remember certain things during that experience, and then I can go to the negative experience. I can go to all my experiences, and I can tell you the environment, I can tell you what I was thinking. So I took that fact that you remember everything that you experience, so you remember parts of the experience, and I applied that to an educational setting. So I was able to get a book. I found a book called The Dance Music Manual, and I thought that it was someone had recommended it who was fairly knowledgeable, and I opened it up, and I was able to, I can tell you now about timbre and how important timbre is for each song, and getting a sound, a character for each individual song. But that is a complete different universe that we can jump into, that I chose to indulge in, but this is just the factor of a product. So using it like I don't want to say performance enhancer, but kind of, imagine studying for a test on shrooms or psychedelic mushrooms, microdosing maybe, I don't know. I don't know the exact measurement, but I just know a product of the experience. If you do this before a test and you study, the next day, I could almost guarantee that you're going to ace this test, because you're going to remember. If you engulf yourself in that textbook, you're going to remember it, and that's a part of the experience, and that can be used maybe to combat PTSD. Because through negative experience, my theory is that maybe if you can create ultimately positive experiences so much and for so often that you kind of just forget about the bad stuff, and you just, it becomes absent from the mind. So absent-minded. If you're not thinking of something, then I think that's the product of moving on from something, because you're able to actively do something else. You're able to adjust your focus. You're able to do things. Being functional is what's most important as a human. I think you don't want to just be a Globberob. Nah, he's cool. Glob, I love Glob. Shout out Globberob. But you don't want to be a slug on a rug all the time, right? That's why it feels good to work out sometimes. Like that's why it's nice to achieve things that you set your mind to. That's life, right? So I just wanted to talk about these psychedelic posers who are out here peddling. If you ever see an MLM company, if someone approaches you and they're like, hey, check out these sweet CBD gummies or these sweet microdosing gummies, give me $500 and then you can get a big pack, and then you can sell them to other people, and then guess what? You make money from bringing those people on. The product's so good, you can sell it, Like, no, okay, that's going to happen. I'm here to tell it to stop, okay? I'm here to tell you guys to tell it to stop. My God. But here it is. Now, I want to say it's cool to have psychedelic mushrooms. It's cool to be pushing, advancing. This is how, if politicians took psychedelics, I think the world would probably be less of a crappy place, in my opinion, because it melts the social construct for sure. like I said, imagine living in a lie, and then you take something that opens the curtains or washes away, pulls back the leaves, the metaphorical leaves that was blinding you from seeing clearly, metaphorically, just the strings that might be attached. And this is just because of brain functionality. You're just thinking, right? If you have realizations, good realizations, and maybe bad realizations that you can learn from. Like, there's a meme, like, I had a bad trip. There's a person riding on a bike, and they put a stick in between their bike pegs, and they've fallen, and they're on the ground. They're like, I had a bad psychedelic trip. And it's like, you did it to yourself because you're a bad person. It's hilarious. It's hilarious. And, you know, if this is what I mean by if more politicians took psychedelics, it would definitely be a different time, because you have to be a certain unconscious to make certain decisions that are beneficial to certain people. If everyone was doing it, definitely we'd have a collective consciousness within this, you know, specific thing. But we're not all psychonauts. You know, that's not the way the world works. You know, it's not how it works right now. Okay, but it's changing. It's becoming more 50-50, and we can see it. We can see it with Instagram. We can see it with the technology age. We can see it with being connected to one another, being able to give information to each other over text, being able to emotionally see there's emotion connected to our phones, being able to connect to people, right? And through that consciousness, we're changing as a whole, right? So it's a cool process to see as a collective being. The more people take psychedelics, the more things are realized, the more the consciousness shift will take place. If you look at the Spirit Science videos, you can see how there was an experiment done. I might butcher this, but there's an experiment done where scientists, they had a painting or they had a puzzle, and they showed it to two different, they broadcasted it on television to two different parts of the continent, or two different countries that are two different continents. And one continent, they couldn't get it or something, and they showed the answer to this continent, and then once they showed the answer to this continent or this country, the opposite country started magically figuring out the answer more quickly to the puzzle. So there's a collective consciousness, whether it be through a freaking telephone call, or whether we're connected through the electric lines in space. I forget what they're called. Horrible. That's alright. We know they exist. We're connected. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. This has been another Relatedness podcast. Oh, I'll try to keep the next one sooner. But this was very educational. And, you know, it's always fun coming on here. I know y'all love seeing my face, hearing the voice. I'll try to bring it more. Sign up to the Patreon. Maybe I'll do it more. Patreon.com/Canadian Cannabis Society. That'd be dope. But content, nah, it's fun. It's a good time. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what we should talk about next. Comment, subscribe, share. Until next time. Peace.